Get started here. Pleased to get off to the start that we did. Obviously in game one, you know, you look around the country and, you know, there's a lot of mistakes going on and a lot of things happen in week one. So it's good to get that game under the belt. We knew Toledo was going to be a very good football team. They're well coached. They're used to winning football games. Came in here and played well, and I'd like to get off to a faster start. I think Toledo had a lot to do with that. They did some good things. We did not execute very clean early in the game, and you know, they moved it a little bit and converted on some third downs, and those are some things that we have to work on. We have to get better at, and as the game went on, our players really settled in and did some good things, and we talk about that often. You know, as players need to understand that early in the season, because as they go through the year, they you know, you have circumstances where you see that things change, and early in the season, it's important to talk about those things, and you have a game plan, and you work on that game plan for a couple weeks heading into that first game, and then sometimes things change. And I was really proud of our players and our coaches to stay poised, stay focused, make a few adjustments, just settle in and start playing football. And I thought we really did some good things. The good news is early on in the game, some of the mistakes that happened are easily fixable. And we'll get back to work here this week and work on those things and hopefully make a big improvement between week one and week two. So we're really focusing on ourselves, and now that we have a game under our belt, we have some guys that hadn't played a lot of football and kind of see what they can do. Get back to work here this week and look to improve. Excited about being home. Opportunity to play Eastern Michigan. They gave us one heck of a game a couple years ago, so we know they're another good football team from the MAC, very well coached, and very similar in that way. Eastern beat Toledo a year ago. We know Toledo was a good team, so Eastern is very capable and very well coached, and again played us to a 4-point game 2 years ago, so we have to get back to work and focus on ourselves and attention to detail and get much better here this week.
Mark, I think you said Saturday, you said it many times, you don't apologize for ugly wins. So what was your reaction as you watched some of the other scores in the division on Saturday, some teams who weren't as lucky? And will you mention that to your team this week as well?
Well, I will mention it to our team, and you know, we point out a lot of things to them every week, but you know, part of it is just football IQ, you know, because I don't think they watch as much as we all did. And so I'll definitely point out some plays that happened throughout this past week that myself and our coaches grab and want to show them, and then also just talk about that if you're not prepared, you know, to play. And that is something that I was very pleased with our team. I mentioned it to you all through the camp because it was true. I mean, I liked the way they were going about their business. It doesn't mean we were perfect. And I also noticed it last week. You know, come maybe Wednesday, Thursday, I started thinking about it, because, you know, our guys don't want to let their teammates down. They don't want to let their coaches down. And some guys that maybe hadn't played very much start getting a little tight and a little bit wide-eyed. And not because they're scared, it's just because they don't want to let people down. And that's what I talked about, is, you know, that's why you have a team. And there's strengths and weaknesses, and there's going to be one group or one side of the ball pick the other one up at times. And I was proud of our team for doing that.
What can you glean from the 2017 film against Eastern Michigan, if anything, because of the personnel on both sides?
Yeah, both teams have evolved, you know, and are different, but we definitely are watching it. And matter of fact, our defense staff's watching it right now as I walk down here. So they're, you know, we will definitely look at it and see. But I remember this, that they did a nice job of just staying patient and nickel and diming us, and, you know, being efficient, trying to stay ahead of the chains, much like Toledo did it this past week early on. That's why, you know, Toledo was effective they were in third and manageable. And when they got in third and long, they didn't have as much success, and we had more success, and that's what we're looking for. But Eastern does a really nice job of staying ahead of the chains. They're a good physical football team that plays the game the right way, and they like to stay efficient. And so, you know, it'll be another challenge that way.
Mark, after watching the film, how did you think your offensive line played?
I thought they did some really good things. Pass protection wise, very good. In the run game, you know, the same. I thought they did some really good things. There's obviously some things that we need to clean up. I thought the running backs did some really good things, but they missed several runs as well. But that's why we watch the film, and we'll teach off it and get better. It's nothing that can't be fixed. It's nothing that wasn't for a lack of, you know, they definitely were trying hard, that's for sure. So there's things will get cleaned up.
Mark, the last time Eastern Michigan played y'all, they had 5 quarterback sacks and 10 tackles for loss. You think the offensive line will take that? Do they have a long memory? And will they?
No, Coach Schlarm's already pointed that out. So yeah, definitely. Coach Schlarm was definitely talking about that already this morning, yesterday. So he'll get their attention, he'll get them right, and they'll be ready to play.
What did y'all lose from, because this was originally a road game, what could you have gotten from that experience, especially for a lot of the younger guys, you know, early on instead of having the first road game?
I'm sorry, can you tell me to rephrase that?
Yeah, so this game was originally a road game.
Yeah.
I guess what could you have gotten from if it had still been, and then what did you gain in the trade for the guys?
Well, I think it, you know, obviously much more comfortable for us to be at home and not have the travel and for our fans and all that. But you know, you learn from every opportunity, and going on the road, we're going to have to go on the road and win tough games this year as well. So just take it as it comes. So, I'm not going to complain about it.
Mark, one of Josh Allen's big things last year is he made some key plays and key moments. So how important was it to see DeAndre and Josh Pascal, some of your best players, do that Saturday?
It was important. Even Wynn's catch, I think we were only up 7 on that 3rd and 5, and he goes and makes that, you know, tough catch. You know, it was good to see that as well. You know, you know, again, I touched on that. You've heard me talk about it through camp. You know, the strength of our team, you better be the strength, you know, because we have some inexperience, and that showed up Saturday. But I'm confident we'll get it fixed. That's the good thing after watching the film. I'm very encouraged because I thought, you know, there's a lot of things we did well and a lot of mistakes we made, but the mistakes can be corrected, and so that's encouraging.
Mark, along those lines, a lot of your key players, your guys are sophomores or juniors, so how excited does that make you for, you know, the potential for growth this year, but also future years?
Oh, definitely. It is encouraging because you know when you have the exodus that we had this past year that you know, you have to overcome that inexperience, and that's just the way it is. And nobody's going to feel sorry for you, right? I mean, just ask Coach Cal, right? He's got to deal with that every year. So it's hard. I tell them all the time. Listen, I don't know how you do that. I don't know how you can do it. You know, it's hard coaching young guys. You know, it's tough. It's a challenge, but we all have to do it, and that's what also makes it a lot of fun, I guess, too.
Mark, after you looked at the film, how did the young linebackers, especially Jordan Wright, how did Jordan Wright play out? Because he looked active.
He did a good job. I was pleased with him. He could play either side, and we need him to play well. And he's a different type of player than Josh Pascal. So I was really encouraged with the way he played, and he's got to continue. You know, he's got to continue to push. So let's not be too nice to him right now.
Mark, on Jordan White, I think said earlier that he needed to learn how to play to his length. What exactly does that mean?
Yeah, I think using his length and using his strength, and there's techniques that Brad will give him where if you're not using the full length on your pass rush and things like that, it's not going to help him. So, if he's 6'5", we want him to play that way, and with the wingspan.
You-
Mark, you're a 14.5 point favorite. This week you opened up as a 14.5 point favorite. What do you think when you heard that Georgia State beat Tennessee?
I got an opportunity to watch some of that, and so I was watching it unfold, and, you know, it can happen to any of us, so I'm not gonna sit up here and throw any stones, that's for sure. You heard me say it, you got an opportunity to be humbled every 7 days sitting up here, so I'm not gonna get out in front of my skis. Experience matters, right? So, I've been there before. But, no, I think, you know, it's just, across college football, these are young kids, we don't get any exhibition games or anything. I mean, we just practice against ourselves, and so early on, it's very difficult because if you have some inexperienced players, they're just so used to playing your team. Yeah, you go play somebody else, they dress things up differently, you know, maybe same place, things just look different, and it's just different, you know, so we don't get the opportunity to have scrimmage games against other opponents and, or exhibition games or preseason games, so it's tough. And, early on, you just, you know, I really harp on our team, you know, and try to beat it into them that, you know, we can't beat anybody until you stop beating yourself. And I think early on, that happens a lot in football.
Marcus, I assume Chris Oates is out the first half this week, and then how do you feel about the depth there if you need more than 3 linebackers?
Yeah, we do. DeAndre, you know, we'll play, and we're excited about him, and so we'll make do. We'll be okay. But yeah, Chris will be out for the first half.